My name is Simon Jager. I'm one of the accessibility testers for Nels, and I'm also totally blind. One of the things I think most of us have learned over the last year or so is how reliant we become on technology and how useful it can be, but also how frustrating it can sometimes be to use it. I would say that's true on both ends of the extreme for many people with print disabilities. I know it's true for me. On the good side, technology and screen reading software running on that technology allows me to access a lot of mainstream apps like social media, grocery shopping, food delivery, book reading, and so on. There's also some specialized apps that have come out for us, like apps that allow us to navigate outdoors with GPS, that have special instructions for us to tell us what kind of intersection is coming up, and more. I can get free video chat whenever I want by talking to someone who could potentially be on the other side of the world and having them describe what's around me. There's some really revolutionary stuff going on. At the same time, as you'll see in this demo, not all of it is great. Sometimes developers don't know how to make their apps accessible, and sometimes getting through to those developers or explaining why it matters can be difficult. As I said earlier, a screen reader is really important to my technology usage, and let me try and explain what that is. For those of you familiar, please forgive me for explaining this for anyone who might not be. A screen reader is a program that runs in the background of a computer or a mobile device that tries to narrate what's going on screen. It does this by talking to the apps that are open using essentially machine language, asking them what they're doing, what text is being displayed, and what they need the user to know. So the screen reader and every open app on my system have kind of a two-way dialogue going, telling each other what needs doing. I have a set of keyboard commands or touch gestures that I can use to interact with apps, depending on the device I'm using, and I get synthetic speech in response. The other option is a braille display, which I'll talk about later. The great thing about screen readers is that they're becoming mainstream. Every modern device comes with one now. All smartphones, computers, even my TV boxes like the Fire TV and Apple TV, my Apple Watch, all of these have screen readers out of the box. I didn't need sighted help to set them up, and I don't need sighted help to use them. So right now I'm on my Windows laptop using an open source screen reader called NVDA, and I'm in a notepad window with some text written here. I'm just going to down arrow through the text. I'll up arrow first to kind of read the first line.
Hello world. The quick brown fox jumped. Left paren, over the lazy dog
I have
right
my
paren.
punctuation set to most right now. There are 4 different options.
Symbol level
Oops.
none. Symbol level some.
I'm putting it back to some, and now
Over the lazy dog.
it won't read that parentheses anymore. I prefer it there. There are a lot of verbosity options like that, such as echoing words or characters when I type them. I have it set to nothing right now because I've been typing for a long time, and other such things. It will
Notepad
also
dialog.
read
Do you
out
want to
any
save changes
alerts
to
that come up,
untitled?
such as this
Save
one.
button. Star untitled.
I just escaped out of that.
File
If I
submenu.
press
Edit
the Alt
submenu.
key, it'll go to the menu bar,
Format submenu.
and I
File
can
submenu.
arrow around that. Most importantly,
New control plus N1 of 10. Open. Control plus O3. Save control plus S4 of 10.
it will tell me all of the keyboard commands I can use to get to those functions quickly. So if I'm here and I press Control O, it'll try to open a file, but it will ask me to save this one first, which I don't want to do. This is one of the ways we navigate the computer quickly. We learn these keyboard commands and just do them. Now that you have a better idea of how these work, let's explore a web page. I have the Nels website open right now. This is our homepage with a lot of information on it and a library catalog that can be searched. So I'm just going to start by pressing down arrow and reading a few of the links and other info on this page.
Heading level 1 National Network 4. Heading level 1 Equitable Library Service. Heading level 2 the Canadian Accessible Library System.
Level 1 headings are the top level or the largest. Level 2 is under level 1.
Heading level 2 search the catalog :
and so on.
Search the catalog. Edit.
Edit is a text field.
Button search.
Button is of course a button.
Link welcome. Link tutorials. Link info for libraries. Link info for publishers. Link volunteer.
So one of the things that this tells us is not only that they are a link that leads to a certain place, but it gives us an anchor point. Let me explain that a little bit. When it said level 1 heading earlier, it meant that not only was it a heading, but it was a place I could navigate back to. A good practice when you get onto a web page using a screen reader is to look for headings. I can do that right now. I can press H to go to the next heading.
Browse the catalog heading level 2. News heading level 2. Inclusion, accessibility, and literacy : expanding the national network for equitable library service link heading level 3. Testing accessibility and preventing barriers in library reading apps link heading level 3.
And of course, that's a level 3 heading for each article, below the level 2 heading for news, below the level 1 heading for NNELS itself. Even this can be a little bit cluttered, so we have different level commands. I can press Shift 1 to go backwards to the previous level 1 heading,
National Network for Equitable Library Service heading level 1.
or 1 to go forwards to the next level 1 heading.
Looking for a book heading level 1.
I'm going to go back again.
National Network for Equitable Library Service heading level 1.
We know that the search box is under a level 2 heading called Search, so we can press 2,
The Canadian Accessible Library System heading level 2.
not that one,
Search the catalog : heading level 2.
that one.
Search the catalog. Edit.
But we can be even more precise than that, because E and Shift E will go to the next and previous edit box. So I'm going to go all the way to the top of the page,
Link jump to main navigation.
press E,
Search the catalog, edit.
and there we are. I'll turn on typing mode and actually type something.
Browse mode. Search results bar National Network for Equitable Library Service left paren.
Okay, so we're on the results page. I happen to know that the main content of the page is under a level 1 heading, so I'm going to press 1,
National Network for Equitable Library Service heading level 1.
not that one,
Search results heading level 1.
that one. And now we can down arrow from here.
Search found 29 items. Heading level 3 link Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
So the neat thing is that not only is the search results page under a heading, but each result is under a level 3 heading. That means we can press H to go through the different results until we find the one we want.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban link heading level. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets link heading level 3.
Of course, we can read info underneath all of these.
Author : role, summary : Harry Potter is in his second year at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizard. Link login to access Daisy 202-audio left paren, 130.2 megabytes right paren.
Let's keep going through headings.
Harry Potter and the Sorcerer. Harry Potter and the Harry Potter and the Goblet of. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Parts 1 and 2 link heading level 3.
Okay, so there it is. That's the one I want. I'm going to press enter on it.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Parts 1 and 2 bar National Network for Equitable Library Service left.
Let's go to the first level 1 heading again.
National Network.
Second.
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Parts 1 and 2 heading level 1. Heading level 2 available formats : Link NNELS formats guide. Link login to access EPUB2 left paren, 1.17 megabytes right paren. Publisher : Pottermore. 2. Note : This book was purchased with support from the Government of Canada's Social Development Partnerships Program. Link login to access BRF. Publisher : National Braille Press. Note : This book was purchased.
Okay,
Hard copy Braille format available.
so this is the info page for this book. We have a couple formats available: electronic braille and electronic text in EPUB format. We don't really need to read this whole page. The point was to demonstrate the following. I'm going to go back to the previous
Search
page
results bar.
and go to the very top. What you may have noticed is that it says visited link right here.
NNELS homepage graphic visited link.
That means that I've been to the home page before. The other thing I can do is press V to go to the next visited link, which is
Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Parts 1 and 2 visited link heading level 3.
the book we just went to. I'm sure you can imagine that after visiting a page, we accumulate a few of these, and it's very useful to be able to jump between them. I think that's all for this website. Let's move on to Accessible University. Unfortunately, not all pages are designed with accessibility in mind, and this page was designed with inaccessibility in mind. The page is called Accessible University. It's hosted on the University of Washington website, and it's designed to have as many accessibility issues as possible. There is also a fixed version of the page that is fully accessible, so I'm going to briefly go through this one, talk about some of the issues and why they happened, and then go to the accessible version. Let's start at the very top.
Visited link about.
We don't have a heading at the top, which is a problem.
Visited link academics. Visited link admissions. Visited link visitors.
I'm not sure why these show up as visited, perhaps because when I was looking at this before the demo, I clicked on one of them. One of the problems with these is that they're submenus. I know this because I looked at the accessible version, but if I were just a new user to this page, I wouldn't know it. They didn't say they were submenus, and when I click on one with the enter key,
Visited link AU student wins engineering award
nothing
for.
appears to happen. I can just keep going down.
Visited link visitors.
So there's no transition between the list of links and
Visited link AU student wins engineering award for talking robot sign language interpreter.
this. There's also an unlabeled graphic there, which I told NVDA to skip over because there are a lot of unlabeled graphics on pages, but it is there. We'll get to it on the accessible version where it actually does have a label. Let's keep going down.
Blank. Blank. Blank.
I suspect this is something to do with the slides, and it's just not showing me them. Let's try hitting enter on this.
Blank. Visited link AU student wins engineering award for talking robot.
No, nothing happens. Okay.
Blank. 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 Welcome. Accessible University left paren, AU right paren, is a fictional university, and this is its fictional homepage. This page is designed to demonstrate
Okay.
features of a
Let's keep going down.
graphic horizontal line graphic.
This graphic has the alternative text of horizontal line graphic. This is clearly decorative, so it shouldn't have any alt text at all. There should be an empty set of quotes for the alt text, and that will tell screen readers to skip over it.
Bienvenido. Accessible Universidad left paren, UA right paren, es una universidad ficticia.
Okay, so there are two reasons why my English speech synthesizer is trying to read another language. One is because I don't have another language voice set up, I only have English on this system. But two is that they haven't put a language tag here to tell the screen reader to read it in a different language. This is especially important if you're using a Braille device because it will switch Braille codes to that other language. We'll see that on the other page, although it won't really have an effect on my system.
Contenido o graphic horizontal line graphic.
Another horizontal line.
Can you spot the barriers? There are
Yes, I think I can.
link click here dot to see a more accessible version of this same page. There are at least 18 accessibility issues on this page. To see a list of all known issues. Link click here dot to see a more accessible version of this same page. Visited link click here dot for a cheat sheet of accessibility issues. Link
It's generally bad practice to have click here links because sometimes you want to go through the whole list of links without reading the surrounding text. That's pretty minor
link
though.
click here dot. Graphic horizontal line graphic. AU enrollment trends. Table with 5 rows and 13 columns. 2007-08.
So this is pretty broken. We do have a way of navigating tables. This table is just not very navigable. In the interest of time though, I'm going to skip by it and go on to the sign up
Apply
form.
now. Left paren. Required fields are in blue right paren.
Required fields are in blue. Of course they are. I can't tell which things are blue. There is a report color option. It's not always reliable.
Name colon. Edit. Email colon. Edit. City colon. Edit.
The other thing is that if I go through these edit boxes with the E key,
Edit. Edit submenu has autocomplete. Edit. Edit.
it doesn't tell me what they are. That's because even though there's a label above them, that label is not attached to the text field in the HTML code, so it's not going to tell me what it is.
State/province colon. Edit. Zip/postal code. Edit. Country colon. Edit. Desired major left paren. S right paren. Computer science. Checkbox not checked. Engineering. Checkbox not checked.
And again, the checkboxes are not associated with their labels, so if we go through
Checkbox not checked. Checkbox not checked. Checkbox not checked. Checkbox. Edit. Submit. Edit. Please enter the 2 words you see below, separated by a space.
that's a doozy. These are called CAPTCHAs. It's a long acronym and I can't remember what it stands for at the moment, but I'm sure you've seen them. Enter the words you see in this picture. Except usually they come with an audio alternative. In this case,
Edit.
it doesn't. And of course, I can't see what's in the graphic. Screen readers only know the text that the app reports to them, and it doesn't know this text because the app is specifically designed not to report it to them. Unfortunately, the same thing that keeps out spammers keeps out screen reader users.
Button submit. Link graphic Creative Commons license.
Since this is under a Creative Commons license, I can safely use this without calling out any company that actually made their page inaccessible. Let's move on to the accessible version.
Heading Level 1 Graphic Accessible University.
Okay, line 1 is already improvement. We have a graphic that is labeled and a heading at the top of the page. That's perfect. Let's keep going.
Button collapsed show menu keyboard shortcuts.
We're not going to open that for the sake of time, but it's there.
Menu bar menu item sub menu about. Menu item sub menu academics. Menu item sub menu admissions.
Let's try pressing enter on this menu.
Admissions menu undergraduate menu item. Menu item graduate. Menu item tuition. Menu item financial aid.
The page put me on the first menu item. That was not my screen reader, that was design of the page. I can also press
Admissions menu.
escape to get out of the menu. That's great design.
Menu item sub menu visitors. Out of menu bar heading level 2 featured story slideshow. Now showing slide 1 of 3. Graphic robot with a friendly face, assembled with various scraps of hardware, and mounted on an old DAC talk speech synthesizer.
A couple things. One, that's a great alt text. That's exactly what it should do. give missing context for people who can't see the picture. 2, it's worth pointing out that on the inaccessible version of the page, I didn't even know there was more than one slide. For that matter, I wasn't even sure it was a slide. Here we have
AU student wins engineering award for talking robots.
We read
Visited
that.
links to button graphic previous slide. Button graphic next slide.
If I press this button,
Now showing slide 2 of 3.
I can go to the previous graphic.
Previous a large bronze tactile map with a speaker for audio output graphic.
That's great. Let's do the last one.
Next slide. Now showing slide 3 of 3. Braille dots embossed into the top of an aluminum beer can graphic. Group of AU students successfully advocates for Braille on beer cans. Read more about.
What a concept. Okay, let's go to the next heading.
Welcome, heading level 2.
And the next.
Bienvenido, heading level 2. Accessible Universidad abrir parenthesis, UA cerrar parenthesis, es una universidad.
So it's still going to read it in English because I don't have any non-English voices. The difference is that it switched languages for the parentheses. Or at least it tried. That's how we know it's tagged correctly.
Contenido o las.
Next heading.
Can you spot the barriers? Heading
Next.
level, AU enrollment trends heading level 2. This table shows enrollment over a 2-year period by subject and gender. The academic years 2007-08 and 2008-09 are arranged in columns, with 6 subjects arranged as columns nested within the year columns. Total enrollment, and male and female. Enrollment percentages are arranged in rows.
Okay, that's a great description. I'll skip over that table for the sake of time. I will say that it is a lot more readable than the old table was.
Apply now, heading level 2.
Let's see what they did to this.
Name colon, left, edit, name colon, left paren, required right paren.
Great.
Edit required invalid entry.
Oh, and they also tagged it as required, so Chrome, and therefore NVDA, is able to tell that it is.
Email colon, left paren, required right paren. Edit required invalid entry.
Let's try going through edit fields.
City colon, edit. State/province colon, edit. Zip/postal code colon, edit. Country colon, edit. If a cow is purple, what color is it? Edit required invalid entry.
Ah, text-only CAPTCHA. Very cool. I think AI will unfortunately be able to defeat those soon, but it's a great concept. Instead of having a picture, it asks a logic question. If you can read, you can probably solve the question. If a cow is purple, it's obviously purple, so we type purple in and it works.
Button submit. Link graphic Creative Commons license.
What you're looking at, apart from my phone screen, is called a refreshable Braille display. This particular one is called the BrailleSense U2 Mini. It's by HIMS Incorporated, and in addition to connecting with a phone or computer to show me what they're displaying, it can also do basic note-taking, calculations, and web browsing, as well as reading books off an SD card. These are unfortunately quite expensive devices still, but they're coming down in price with new introductions such as the Orbit Reader. So what this is doing right now is displaying the contents of my phone screen. I also have VoiceOver, the screen reader, loaded with speech.
Speech on.
So right now it's sending to both the Braille display and the speech synthesizer. If I go forward on the Braille display,
Search button.
I get search BTN. This is an 18-character display, so it's trying to abbreviate as much as possible.
Bestsellers. Heading.
Bestsellers HD.
The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. Narrated by Amy Landon. 11 hours. 50 minutes. Speech off.
It's worth noting that I can turn off speech and navigate with just the display. Promised Land, Barack Obama, narrated by Barack Obama, 29 hours, 10 minutes. But I won't do that because it makes the video pretty inaccessible to anybody who is even slightly visually impaired and watching it
Speech
right now.
on. Home. Image.
So let's go to the search button.
Search button.
It's worth noting that I could be navigating with the touch screen of my phone as well as this Braille display. There are custom touch gestures and also custom keyboard gestures to move between controls and activate them.
Search. Search field is editing. Search by title or author. Insertion point at start.
So using the
Actions available.
Braille keyboard, I will type
10 search results. 4
It's-
search results.
trying to narrow it down as it goes.
35 search results. Cancel button. In your library. 0. Results. 35. Sort by relevance button. Filter button. The answer is 4 periods by Alex Trebek. 4.8 of 5 stars. Based on 209 ratings. Button. Button. The answer is Energy by Jared Hewitt. 5.0 of 5 stars. Based on 1 ratings. Button.
I find it interesting that there's
Actions
an
available.
unlabeled button here. I'm not sure what it is, but it seems to just open the same book details screen as I would get by clicking on the book title itself.
The answer is 4 periods by The answer is 4. The answer is
For some
4
reason, it
periods.
tends to get stuck occasionally when I do this, so I have to touch
Search. Back button.
somewhere at the top of the screen and then keep going.
The answer is ellipsis. Heading. Button. Share.
Another slightly unlabeled button.
By Alex Trebek. Narrated by Ken Jennings. Audiobook. 4.8 of 5 stars. 4 hours. Sample now. Button.
So I could do all of this. My original plan was to add it to my library and then go explore the library view, but it doesn't look like I can do that with the Audible app in Canada for some reason, so I can't explore that section. But I think that's enough of a demonstration of the Braille display at least, and how VoiceOver on my iPhone reads the screen compared to, say, NVDA on the computer. I'd like to wrap this up just by saying thank you for being here and for watching. The issues that I saw on Accessible University's homepage aren't really that uncommon. They're things that I and many others like me encounter all the time on the internet. Unlabeled buttons, incorrectly tagged submenus, and it's one thing to write to a company and say, your button needs an accessibility label. It's another thing to record a video demonstrating that I can't actually open this menu because of how it's tagged. And I think that's the path forward to more accessible documents and other content, making videos and other demonstrations, and more understanding in general. I'm hoping that by recording these demonstrations, I can make accessibility in itself more accessible, so that more people understand the impact these things have and why it's so important to start with accessibility in mind. Thanks again for watching.